I guess I'll stop here for now before moving on to the final two themes, if anyone had any thoughts or questions.
Politics of planning is actually one of the gravest danger in foresight and futures and foresight, because a lot of the time, if it's not properly addressed and obviously scrutinized, it would lead into what I would call limited gene pools. So imagine the diversity of Canada, US, and Australia, attracting people from all different parts of the world and always celebrating it instead of a melting pot, just multiculturalism. And I have seen, let's say, establishments or enterprises where there was a concentration of certain gene pools. They pretended to be doing foresight, futures, SFA, or horizon scanning, but yet they were doing Delphi because it's just really penetrated into their bones. And the result is, just inbreeding. The futures and their entire horizon gets very narrow. And I would go as far as saying that anybody involved in doing the work in security, threats, uncertainty, they are in their own rights a foresight practitioner. So Anissa, before she initially started as a business professor, but then in business, both whether it's accounting, finance, marketing, there's always that element of uncertainty. And by the way, I'm from the Grey Swan Guild, also you may want to check out our book, Uncertainty, and that delves into these topics. So this is all I have to say. Thank you.
No, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, and it completely, I agree completely.
I just have to make a quick call to Edward. Edward, are you here? Because I'm about to leave for my class. Edward? Hello, Edward. Well, anyway, I have a class, so I will be leaving. But I really appreciate your bringing together all this, the different meanings of what the decolonization means. And you talked about DeFi method, and I have always had this reservation about using that method, because it's all we hear are the experts who have been in the field for a long time, and they just reconfirm and confirm again what has been practiced, for a long period of time, and we are all hung up with the same principles or even factors that is, factors that are influencing a certain phenomenon. We just go back to the same things because they have the same view about how things work. And great, you just put words in my mind about why I have always this reservation about using DeFi method, but great idea about using it, differently. Love it. So I have to go. So thank you so much, guys.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. The third theme is just the role of the futurist. So we have like the methods. We're trying to approach methods by challenging the status quo. And we also have like project design, where we're trying to aim for dialogue. We're trying to consider like the politics of planning, the power relations. And what role do futurists play in all of this? So first off, futurists play multiple roles throughout the project. This is just from I can't remember her first name, but Wilkinson's strategic foresight primer. They're just this isn't the only like set of roles that futurists can play, but she mentioned like something like storytelling coach, window cleaner, who helps people see outside the box, a map maker that provides larger context, psychoanalyst, learning facilitator. She also said that futurists play the role of a midwife who gives birth to futurists. And, there's just a lot of other roles that we could add here. But one role that's often pushed onto the futurist is that of the expert, which imposes sort of a hierarchical element that stifles potential dialogue and alternatives. And to open up space for horizontal dialogue in these situations, it's important to reframe the situation and adopt a role that promotes dialogue. So Sohail said in his interview that he always tries to deconstruct and decolonize and think about other narratives, and say to groups that, I'm not the smartest person in the room, but I can help the smartest people think differently. And by saying this, you're able to open up dialogues that might have been stifled. And there are also some personal characteristics that I found in the literature as well. And we could try to cultivate these, especially when we're trying to create alternatives through the conceptual worlds and through the language of our participants. And this can be some of the hardest thing to do, to be aware of and overcome our habitual ways of thinking, our biases, and our conceptual frameworks. So futurists can look to cultivate multiple intelligences, to read and listen widely, to be intellectually dexterous, to pursue deeper dialogue with people from just different walks of life, and to achieve sort of a non-disciplinary ethos, or to pursue these non-disciplinary ideals. Futurists can strive to be omnivorous readers and absorb just different sources of information. And all of this is to move past their own conceptual categories and create futures with participants on their own terms.